Welcome to a special championship edition of KUJH. I'm Sarah McDonough.
And I'm Gabriel Johnson. You just saw students celebrate at Allen Fieldhouse after KU won the NCAA Tournament National Championship.
Kansas men's basketball arrived in Lawrence yesterday as national champions, but what got the team there boiled down to one moment.
Kansas trailed North Carolina 40-25 at halftime behind a 16-0 run by the Tar Heels.
However, a smile remained on the face of senior forward David McCormick, one of encouragement and resolve.
It was me, definitely. He was looking at me, and I'm like, why are you smiling, dude? Like, we're down 15. And he's telling me, like, man, like, keep your head up, like, keep going. We'll be all right. We've been here before. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I ever been here before. You know? Down 15 in the national championship, I definitely never been there.
In the second half, 3 Jayhawks scored in double figures as Kansas stormed back to victory. Most notably, Remy Martin went perfect from the floor in the second, and McCormick tallied 4 late points to seal the game.
Yesterday, the team returned to Lawrence to celebrate the win on campus.
Elise Noe is outside Memorial Stadium, where KU held a rally to celebrate the team's championship.
Thanks, Gabe and Sarah. After over a decade since the Jayhawks won their last national championship, the basketball team brought back the title to KU. And what was their first stop? Memorial Stadium, where they celebrated their win with fans Tuesday afternoon.
We welcome our 2022 national champions.
I'm crazy excited. KU cowgirled up for this championship. We're ready to rock it out in Lawrence, Kansas today.
Jayhawk fans flooded into Memorial Stadium with excitement to celebrate KU's victory over North Carolina in the NCAA championship.
I feel like I'm 7 years old again, celebrating like I did with my family back when we won it in 08 for a thriller.
I was excited. I almost broke my ankle last night, but that's besides the point. But yeah.
As the team returned from New Orleans and onto the field, fans erupted in cheers for their national champions and KU legend Bill Self. The team celebrated with the crowd and was overwhelmed with the support of the KU community, a moment no one in the stadium will ever forget.
This moment, it's about coming together and understanding that we're just a family, that we're all here for each other, and that's what KU basketball is all about, and that's what this community's been all about.
It was certainly a very special moment in KU history, but the celebration doesn't stop here. The Jayhawks will continue to celebrate their win with a parade in Lawrence on Saturday at 10 a.m. Back to you in the studio, Gabe and Sarah.
Thanks, Elise. As many of you witnessed this weekend, Mass Street turned into an absolute party after advancing to and winning the national championship.
But before tip-off, Mass Street provided food, music, and fun events for the community as it got ready for game time. I went downtown to check out the pregame festivities and hear from nervous yet excited fans. That was the sound of an alive and booming Massachusetts street last weekend as fans gathered prior to KU's Final Four and championship games.
We wanted to come down and feel the energy because this is what makes Lawrence different.
It's been 4 years since Lawrence last celebrated a KU Final Four appearance back in 2018. It was there Kansas fell to Villanova, but this year the Jayhawks sought a different result.
I remember we were in college the last time they played Villanova. It was my senior year, so it's kind of cool still being at Lawrence and getting to see it for a second time.
They're calling it revenge season.
Yeah.
A great game plan. You know, we've been here before. We've seen Villanova in the Final Four. I think he's not going to let what's happened in the past happen again. I'm pretty confident.
After a convincing Final Four win over Villanova, KU set its sights on UNC, aiming for its first championship since 2008. Fans again populated Mass Street, hoping their team could make history.
I mean, everything, because this is my first year here, and so I've been a fan my whole life, you know, and so to actually be a part of this one would be insane.
It would be the highlight of being at KU, truly. We had COVID for the last 2 years, like this is like the first March Madness we've had in so long.
While the post-game celebration on Mass Street gained the most attention with thousands of celebrating fans, the pregame offered a laid-back atmosphere for everyone.
It's been awesome, yeah, with all the food and music and everything, and beanbag toss, it's just been great.
You're in any place in Mass Street, and you can just feel the energy.
While March Madness has come to an end, the celebration continues in Lawrence. KU fans can attend the championship parade on Saturday at 10 a.m. right back on Mass Street. For more championship coverage, head to our website at tv.ku.edu.
Before celebrating a championship, fans lined up on Mass Street anticipating the Jayhawks' Final Four game against Villanova, the same team that sent them packing from the Final Four in 2018.
KUJH's Johan Marin shows us what Jayhawks fans had to say about the Final Four game.
Thanks, Gabe and Sarah. Well, there's nothing stopping KU fans from celebrating their fellow Jayhawks. And even before the final game, KU fans waited outside of local bars until it was game time. Let's take a look.
KU students and fans show their school spirit as they gather in downtown Massachusetts Street, celebrating the Final Four game and cheering on their fellow Jayhawks. Massachusetts Street, along with other streets in Lawrence, was closed off temporarily for the Final Four game. The Final Four game erupted many long lines of eager fans ready to watch the game at their local bars and restaurants. KU student Sarah Reinhardt is eager for the Final Four game that she and her friends got in line at their local Brothers Bar hours before the game.
I got here at around, I would say 1, and yeah, just waiting for it to open.
Reinhardt is hopeful the Jayhawks will win.
I went to every game my freshman year until shut down because of COVID, and it's just so exciting to actually be a student at KU while this is happening, and yeah, I'm so excited for tonight.
The excitement for KU's Final Four victory continues on Mass Street, and some fans have even started camping hours before the game. Joe Blake, a future KU student, traveled to Lawrence from Arkansas City to see the Final Four game, and he's as excited as his fellow KU students. Blake always had hoped KU would win.
Get down to Mass Street after a big win and, just go crazy with the boys.
Although Blake has to wait hours before game time, he's happy he's having a good time with his friends and getting the Jayhawk experience.
Yeah, I think it opens at 5, so then in game time 8:20. So yeah, it's quite a bit of a wait, but I'm here for it. So.
Well, there's no doubt KU fans will continue to celebrate on Mass Street, especially with KU's historic comeback to win the national championship. Reporting for KUJH, I'm Johan Marion.
Thanks, Johan.
And to celebrate this historic occasion, fans will almost certainly buy some kind of merchandise dedicated to the team's national championship win.
We'll now send it over to Caroline Soro, who talked to a local business making the most of this moment.
Thanks, Sarah and Gabriel. I had the chance to talk to a local business owner about selling products in Lawrence during March Madness. Let's take a look at how JocksNitch went about selling KU merchandise during this year's tourney. With all the chaos on Massachusetts Street, one local business chose a different location to sell its products during March Madness.
We've been in business here since 1989, so we know what happens during Final Four. A lot of people don't want to go downtown to Mass Street. It's just convenient for the customers, and we sold more in our tents than the store yesterday because it's so chaotic.
JocksNitch, which is one of Lawrence's oldest sports merchandise companies, is continuing its NCAA tournament tradition by starting pop-up tents all over town, one on 23rd Street, and there's one right here on Iowa, where they're selling NCAA tournament gear for the Final Four and NCAA championship.
It's very hard to pull everything off. You have to have all the permits from the city, the permits from the University of Kansas, have the contacts for the officially licensed Final Four shirts, which is a pain.
But the shop's history helped it get that gear in a year where COVID-19 and printing complicated the process.
We've been doing it for 43 years, so we have all the vendor relations. We've been doing it the longest anybody here in the Midwest. So we have the companies. We're kind of like the A-list company, so we know how to work the system and get the product and stuff like that.
And Minton believes getting those products out to the public is nothing but good for the city.
It's great for the local economy here. Stores just texting me, we're selling our shirts in all our other towns, Atchison, Topeka. So it's just good for the whole economy of the Midwest and for Kansas.
Reporting for KUJH, I'm Caroline Soro. JocksNitch and other sports merch businesses around town are now selling official championship gear, which, like Minton said, should have a positive effect on the economy here in Lawrence. More on KU's championship win when we get to sports, but first, Halen, what's the weather going to look like for the next few days?
Well, I can tell you we are going to be staying pretty mild for the next couple of days, although still pretty breezy out there. So far, we've got wind gusts up to 30 to 40 miles per hour across the region, but temperatures staying mild. We've got 60s across the board, although in Leavenworth, still 59 degrees up there. But as I mentioned before, it is very windy out there. We've got those westerly winds blowing sustained winds at about 25 miles per hour across the region. But I mentioned before, gusts up to 30 to 40 miles per hour. Very windy. You want to hold on to your hats out there, but so far we have reached a high of 65 degrees today, a little bit above average for this time of the year. But looking ahead later for the next couple days, as mentioned before, still staying a little bit on the breezier side, continuing to stay mild, but maybe looking ahead at next week, maybe talking maybe 70s, 80s, and maybe even some more thunderstorms moving into the region as well. But I have more details on that coming up later in the full forecast.
Thanks, Halen. Aside from the wind, I'd say the weather was absolutely perfect today walking up on campus.
I know, it was really nice to see some of the flowers blooming.
I agree.
Coming up next on KUJH, Caroline Sorrow and the KUJH sports team takes you inside the game day atmosphere in New Orleans.
Stay with us.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became pioneers, voyagers, champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed, Jayhawks are telling the world what's near. Victory.
Welcome back to KUJH.
Continuing our coverage on KU basketball's national championship win, we now send it over to Caroline Sorrow and the KUJH sports team, who takes us to the game in New Orleans.
Thanks, Sarah and Gabriel, and welcome to KUJH Sports. Need I mention again that the Kansas Jayhawks are national champions? Every Kansas player contributed to the team's tournament run, including Ochai Agbaji, who was named the most outstanding player of the tournament. Agbaji has played his entire career with the Jayhawks and had a breakout senior season this year. Sam Lance walks us through Agbaji's emotions after his last game as a Jayhawk. Sam?
Kansas senior guard Ochai Agbaji wrapped up his Jayhawk career with a bang, scoring 12 points against North Carolina to help KU secure a national championship on Monday night. As the final buzzer sounded, Agbaji was overcome with emotion, jumping up and down, and then going to hug KU's radio announcers Brian Haney and Greg Gurley. Later on in the celebration, Mitchell Summers captured this moment between Agbaji and his family.
You a champion! That was the boy! That was champion, boy!
Why was Agbaji so emotional? Well, getting to this point isn't exactly easy.
When he was younger, maybe third, fourth grade, just AAU and playing, just always giving it his all, always working hard, no matter if they were down or anything, just a hard worker.
The seniors' hard work has certainly resulted in a year to remember. Ochai Agbaji has had quite the list of impressive accomplishments this season, including the Big 12 Player of the Year, being named a consensus first-team All-American, and then being named the most outstanding player in the Big 12 tournament and right here in the Final Four. And of course, Ochai Agbaji got to watch the confetti fall as the Jayhawks won their 4th national championship of all time.
He's the most accomplished player that we have had at our university since Danny.
Agbaji, though, isn't caught up in his individual accolades. He's just glad KU cut down the nets.
I wouldn't say, winning the most outstanding player of this, I don't really care because we won the national championship.
With his college career behind him, Agbaji's eyes are now on the NBA draft, where he is projected to be a top 15 pick. Agbaji was a large contributor to Kansas's historic season, where it secured its 6th national title. The Final Four and championship games took place in New Orleans this year, and our crew was there on the scene. Sam, I'm coming back to you. Take us through what Bourbon Street was like over the weekend.
One of the most well-known streets in the United States has been a little busier with the Final Four in town. The infamous Bourbon Street in downtown New Orleans was packed full of college basketball fans this weekend. On Bourbon Street, there certainly isn't a shortage of unique people. Locals line up on the streets to perform unique music routines or show off their exotic animals. That's typical on Bourbon Street, but what isn't typical is the amount of Jayhawk fans.
It's weird to be in the French Quarter with about 40% of the people wearing Jayhawk gear. I've never seen that before, and I've been here 20 times, maybe more. It's cool. It's a cool environment.
I'm standing here on Bourbon Street in downtown New Orleans. It's a little bit more calm here Monday morning before the national championship game, but fans have been packing the streets all weekend, cheering on their teams during March Madness.
It looks like things were pretty fun down in New Orleans, but Massachusetts Street here in Lawrence didn't disappoint either, with everyone rushing down there after KU's big win on Monday night. Well, that wraps up our KUJH sports update for the week. Now, let's send it back to Gabriel and Sarah.
Thanks, Caroline.
Coming up after the break, Halen Wilhite tells us what to look forward to in this week's weather.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Welcome back to KUJH.
Well, it looks like spring might finally be here for good. Halen, can you tell us if this weather is sticking around?
Yes, I can. Pretty much spring is here, and it's pretty much here to stay, although still going to be dealing with a little bit of some more rain and maybe a little bit of flurries later this week. But for right now, we're really enjoying those 60s across the region. Currently still 61 degrees in Lawrence, also 61 degrees in Wichita. But seeing those cooler temperatures up to the north in parts of Omaha, Des Moines, Iowa, and North Platte, Nebraska. Seeing those 40s up there. We will eventually be dropping down later tonight, at least into those 30s this evening. But so far, still going to be holding on to those 60s for a couple more hours until we'll finally see temperatures starting to drop. But it's been pretty mild, fair weather today. We're starting to see a little bit some more clouds trying to move in the area. Also, too, going to be watching for the potential for some sprinkles that may try to form later this evening, all associated with this pretty large mid-latitude cyclone that's currently situated near Minnesota. Seeing plenty of rainfall. Can clearly see that cold front that pushed through the other day, and that's why temperatures have not really shifted all that much, but really seeing those winds been picking up, still dealing with those 35 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts across the region. But here's a closer look at that satellite local view, seeing those cumulus clouds still hanging around the region, but of course still going to be watching for the gradual increase of those clouds and maybe a few sprinkles trying to make its way into the region, but not expecting any kind of washout or any kind of persistent rain like we experienced last night. Temperatures will still, as I mentioned before, continue to drop further this evening. Eventually by 9 o'clock, we'll be in those 40s. Wind gusts still pretty strong, at least in those 15 to 20 mile per hour sustained winds. But eventually, once we get past midnight, we will get decreasing clouds. Still breezy with those wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour and a low of about 38 degrees. Now, tomorrow's story, maybe not as warm as what we experienced today, but certainly still mild with temperatures, at least in those lower 50s, with mostly cloudy skies and still dealing with those gusty winds blowing at about 15 to 20 miles per hour and gusts up to 40 miles per hour as well. And still can't rule out going into Thursday night, maybe seeing a couple more sprinkles trying to make its way into the region, and even too, a couple of flurries as well, as temperatures are getting very close to that 32-degree freezing point. So can't rule out seeing maybe a couple flurries Thursday night into the early morning hours of Friday. But still also too, going ahead and next week, maybe going to be start talking maybe some more severe weather going to be moving into the region. This is just one of our in-house models, still going to be showing us just maybe that low pressure system that will be trying to swing through the region. Another cold front is going to be with this system, and that's why we're maybe seeing the little indication, maybe the potential for severe weather. And even the National Weather Service has already put out a couple of severe or potential for severe weather days, at least 6 to 7 days out, which is quite rare in these cases. We don't normally get those severe indices quite that far, but with this upcoming system, really starting to see something interesting. So we're going to be keeping a very close eye on that, especially once we get into the first half of next week. But looking to stay pretty dry for the next several days. Saturday for the celebration parade, temperatures should be great, 60s with those mostly sunny skies. But then once we get into Sunday and the first half of this week, temperatures really starting to warm up. Temperatures finally getting into those 70s, but going to be starting to see a little bit more of the severe thunderstorms, and even a couple of storms going to be keeping a close eye, especially going into Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even trying to break into those lower 80s going into next weekend. But got a lot happening next week, but certainly going to enjoy at least these next couple of days of some dry weather.
Thanks, Halen. Today was certainly a nice day, so hopefully it'll stay like that on Saturday.
Definitely. I would love it if it was a nice and sunny day for the championship parade. Coming up on KUJH, a newly opened boutique in Lawrence is handpicking their clothes for the new store. How are they making it appealing to their customers in Lawrence? Find out after the break.
Go on the right, go right.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back to KUJH.
A new boutique on Mass Street is customizing their inventory specifically selected for Lawrence customers. Lily O'Shea Becker gives us an insight on how the business is expanding across the region.
When families come to visit KU students, it can sometimes be hard to find things to do that appeal to people of all ages. But not here at Bling Glamour by Nicole, where there's a wide variety of clothes and accessories that suit people of all ages.
Nicole Campos started selling purses out of her basement.
And then we went to our first store in Western Kansas in Scott City, Kansas. And there I started carrying clothing and accessories.
Lawrence residents frequently visit the Bling Glamour stores in Manhattan and Emporia, so when the perfect location opened up at 742 Massachusetts Street, Campos knew it had to be the Lawrence location. The Lawrence location is their 20th store amongst the 21 stores open across the states of Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Kansas. Bling Glamour by Nicole takes pride in their customer service and says their goal is to connect with their customers and make sure they feel better when they leave the store than when they walked in. Because their locations vary, each store's inventory is completely different than the next. By doing this, Bling Glamour hopes their products specifically appeal to customers at their different locations.
None of our stores have the same merchandise. Some of the same items will be the same, but not everything. So a lot of our customers will hit several stores in a weekend, shop different stores.
Campos said because of their wide variety of products, they often see grandmas, moms, and daughters all walking out of the store with something they like. An additional 3 locations will be opening this year. You can find out more at www.blingglamour.com. This has been Lily O'Shea Becker with KUJH News.
Bling Glamour by Nicole says they are happy to open a new location in Lawrence and feel extremely welcomed by the community.
Coming up on KUJH, what were KU basketball fans' favorite memories of the season? Find out after the break. Welcome back to KUJH.
Arguably, one of the best parts about KU basketball is the dedicated fan base that follows it.
Anna Dennison was in the stands for the final game asking KU fans about the season.
I'm here at Caesars Superdome in New Orleans where KU is about to face off against North Carolina in the national championship. Win or lose tonight, the season is over after the game later today. So I'm here asking KU fans what their favorite moment of the season was.
My favorite moment of the season is making the Final Four, Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
My most favorite moment this entire season was winning the Texas Tech game.
Maybe Texas Tech and double overtime.
Part of this whole season is the fact that these Jayhawks have figured out a way to make it happen. I love the fact that Remy Martin has persevered, and here at the end he's showing his true colors and he's adding that energy that I think we all love to see at Kansas.
100% Remy energy the last 9 games. Absolutely incredible. We've been without that the entire year. Fantastic.
We're about to win this game and then the next game, which will mean we're going to be national champions in 2022. I think that's how it works, right? Okay.
Longtime Jayhawk fan. I think my favorite moment was watching DeJuan Harris make the game-winning layup against Iowa State when all hope was lost.
I think my favorite moment was when Remy Martin comes off the bench and he won the victory to beat Miami to be here. Rock Chalk.
What a fantastic end to a great season. For KUJH, I'm Anna Dennison.
I think I speak for most students when I say winning the national championship might just be my new favorite memory.
Mine too. It's definitely a moment I will never forget.
Me neither.
Thank you for watching KUJH. Tune in next week at 4 p.m.
For more coverage, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter and to visit our website at tv.ku.edu.
Have a great evening.